Go. Hey, welcome to LanderBolt Success Hour. This week I have a very special guest, and he's gonna introduce himself in a moment. I have only one commercial announcement this week, and that's we have the meetup at the sushi bar in February. So if you have not claimed a ticket, I believe we are have a few left. So I sent you an email. If you did not get an email, email us at support@landerbolt.com to RSVP for that ticket. During the success hour, I'm going to bring on a gentleman who is very savvy in business, and he actually is the best person to talk to in terms of starting a business with a recurring revenue model and actually owning and running a company. And I think that's the thing a lot of affiliates need and wants is a company instead of viewing their business as campaign by campaign. And what I've learned from Vlad is actually that when you do something, you take your time with it and you do it right. And taking your time with something is a skill that is takes a lot of work, because instant gratification is kind of expected in affiliate marketing, but taking your time is something that I've learned from Vlad. And Vlad, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions for our listeners.
Sure, John, thank you very much for this opportunity. Well, I'm not sure much about myself. My name is Vlad. I've been with digital marketing for more than 20 years. I've seen the digital marketing businesses on both sides of the Atlantic, and I had an opportunity to learn from the great people. And again, everything else, you already gave me a very good intro, so I'm happy to be part of this initiative, and I'm happy to answer all your questions.
Okay, question one is, what was your first who was your first mentor or experience in the 20 years with internet marketing, and what was your first interaction with the internet in the business sense?
Well, surprisingly, my first interaction with internet was affiliate marketing way back in 2000. And I was looking for local Ukrainian media holding. It was the biggest at that time, and we were launching affiliate programs. Well, it was like, again, early 2000. It was internet marketing. Not many people were aware what it's about. Still, many people believed that internet is just a fancy toy that would go away with time. It's funny to say nowadays, but it was still the notion at that times. And I was doing and launching affiliate marketing programs for a couple of portals and media publications. So I guess the best lesson I learned at that time from my that time SEO would be CEO, sorry, would be that, hey, you know what? Bigger companies always have better resources. When you do something, don't try to invent the bicycle. Just find the most common pattern, copy it, and then improve based on your individual results, because no two businesses are the same. So that was a very good lesson learned. So sometimes when I'm stuck, I'm just to go around, see what other people do, find the most common pattern, copy it, and then improve.
So let's backtrack a little bit. One thing that you said, and I'd like to go into more, is you find something that's working, you improve upon it, package it up, zip it up, and sell it and market it. And I really like that, because you don't have to have some new great idea, but you can start with a working business and model your business on that. And I think that will shorten your time to get your products to market. Is that something that from all your years of experience, can you go a little bit deeper into which business you would pick to actually kind of model and put your own brand on and then scale that business?
Well, it depends on the case, honestly. So, for example, you enter the niche. Well, like we did with trackers. So when I was invited to run RedTrack and join the team to make sure RedTrack gets up to speed, we had a working product. But what we did, we looked through the market, looked through all the competition, and we identified two areas of things, or two areas for improvement. Area number one, we need to make sure that we have features that are shared by all the trackers, because it means that it's the core functionality that is required by affiliates, media buyers, advertisers worldwide in any niche. As long if we don't have something that is common to all the other trackers, we are missing on functionality. Second thing that we did, we create a list of things missing in all those trackers and requested by people, well, in any public space we can find. And this was the list of our improvements, and that was our working model. Then when we launched the product, we started to get feedback from our customers. So basically what we did, we stick to our working model with about the core functionality, but when it came to the missing features, we changed it often based on the feedback of the customers, feedback of the market, and the reaction we are receiving when we would introduce something new. So that's what we did with RedTrack. And same can be applied to, that's the same principle just mentioned, and I guess can be applied to any other business. Just study what happens on, find the common solution, and then find things that make this common solution better, but they're not available yet, and just do it.
Great. I'd love to backtrack and talk about, actually, we'll talk about RedTrack in a moment, but there's another thing you just said that really, I think it would be awesome if you could expand upon. For example, someone who sells ice cream, there's millions of people who sell ice cream, but there's that experience for the customer when you give them that ice cream and they smile and they enjoy it. And for that, 5 minutes when they're eating that ice cream, they're enjoying it, and you get the joy of providing an awesome service to your customer. And from my experience with your services online, you have a you're actually, even though you're actually very, very high up in the company, you actually are willing to do customer support, and with new affiliates, with people, big businesses, but you actually help and do the customer support. So can you talk about why you actually help with your own customer support and why that's important?
Yes, two reasons. First, I owe a lot to one of my past CEOs, and I'll name him Kel Brown. He is one of the founders of a great company, WorldJob, and he taught me one thing, is the meaning of what is to be of service, or what does it mean is to sell service. It's not about the money, it's all about the attitude. So we do the product, or you do the product. Whether it's selling ice cream, selling solutions, selling books, selling online courses, whatever it is, you still provide a service to your customers. So in my case, I do handle support tickets from time to time, just to stay on the ground with our users, to try to be in their shoes, talk to them and understand how they perceive our product and our service. And again, quite often people are surprised, say, hey, do you give everybody this kind of treatment? And we say, yes, we do, because this is something all RedTrack team believes in. And it's not the first company I work with that believes into providing great customer service as something that makes them different. And it's true to any other business. Like just recently I read a really good phrase, is that, people remember the good price, but they remember the good experience much longer.
So I love the points you made there, and Vlad, your product right now is really special because there's huge brands like BMW, and Nike and Nestle and all these companies. And when they go and do a marketing campaign, they sit around for a year and have tons of sushi dinners and meetings and cafe au lait meetings. And after a year, they finally come up with this brilliant marketing strategy, and they spend $1 million, and they don't track their performance marketing because what I've seen is especially these large-scale media networks who sell traffic, the success of their customer is who can spend the most money. So for our smaller business and someone who wants to actually find where the money is online and not just throw millions of dollars out there without knowing where those customers are coming from, your solution, if I'm right, is for someone who wants to essentially it isn't for the big guys who just throw millions out there for a Super Bowl commercial, and that's the type of product that even physical businesses can use. If you have an offline business, you can use RedTrack. If you have an online business, you can use RedTrack. So can you talk about the difference between advertising using a performance marketing tracker like RedTrack, or just doing a blast ad campaign without tracking?
Yeah, I can do. I can provide some feedback on your initial question, because I spent many years working with traditional, well, sort of, we can call it non-performance, but rich media advertising, where people would buy videos or impressions at scale, would say like throwing money to the audience to get their exposure. And honestly, they have their KPIs and they also measure everything. It's just the goals are slightly different. The goal is to get the best exposure to the target audience without overspending for overlap of the audience across different channels. And they are very savvy at measuring their KPIs, and trust me, it looks like they are throwing huge monies just out there, spending most. But in reality, they have their metrics, they have their KPIs, and most of them are very, very savvy about each dollar spent and are very demanding towards their media providers and to their location and to the results. However, speaking about regular media buying, well, tracking is essential to several categories of performance media buys. So those who do not own the end product, or those who want to aggregate all the media buying channels into one place where they can see the performance across all those different channels, compare results, and they don't want to use Excel for this. That's two approaches. Because when you don't own the end product, and that's the case for a lot of affiliate marketers, then you need a place where you can see the conversions, make the analysis, and then apply changes. Because honestly, in performance marketing, especially in performance marketing, the only thing you actually manage is changes. Everything else is just collecting data, seeing results, making some mental work, finding some new angles, creative, and then again applying changes. So that's what the tracker is about, allowing you to collect and present the meaningful data in a meaningful way so that you can make a decision about applying those changes fast. That's all about trackers. Well, on the other hand, if advertisers still may control the end product, he may use Google Analytics and all the other solutions. However, ad tracking gives additional insights into the traffic sources and their data through the use of, for example, subsidies, which I don't want to go into details, and having all this data in one place, easily set up and easily comprehensible, gives additional benefits when analyzing data and making changes. And it also allows to actually communicate and manage all the postbacks, all the setups with other affiliates, with advertising networks, publishers, etc. So that's it.
That's a great point. Why don't we backtrack a little bit, Vlad? You talked a little bit about granular tracking and the disadvantage that a marketer would have if he didn't know where the profit is coming from, especially if he's doing paid traffic online. And if you have, a lot of affiliates want to get out of the game and they want to build a business. And with building a business with your products, you actually have a company that has an asset that is you can actually sell. It's kind of like real estate. It's kind of like owning a house that generates revenue, and it's something that you can sell and build another product and in a different industry and then and move up or build more software and sell it. And it's kind of like having real estate and putting time and money into the house and then letting the recurring revenue come in. And a lot of our listeners who are affiliates, they do want that type of asset online. So could you kind of talk about the code asset, and how that is as part of SaaS that a lot of affiliates don't understand, is that you own the code asset and then that's sellable.
Okay, so first of all, you nailed it to the point, because business is, you can sell it. If you make money but you cannot sell it, well, it's not a business just making money. It's like salary but different. Business is something you invest into and then you can sell it for additional profit and then launch another business. And that's what just said, okay, you can compare it with real estate. When it comes down to software as a service products, this concept is very, very old, and I'm not sure I need to explain it. It just means that you create something that works, and then you sell other people rights to use it. And honestly, it's not only about building software products, because building software products is something complex. You can create, like very popular, but still even online courses. If you're good at publishing and creating knowledge, you can sell people rights for money to access your knowledge. That's also a business, as long as it's not sits there inside your mind and you provide consulting. Same is coming about affiliate marketing campaigns. If you know how to run campaigns, you just need to think about scaling it to the point where you have an actual company, a team of people running those campaigns at a bigger scale, and then something you can sell. Because it's not just you putting some hours into it, it's a business that works independently of you. Yes, it's the valuation of this business might be different based on the volumes of the campaigns you're working with, but you have a team of people who actually know how to turn advertising into conversions and how to make money from it. So this is a business because you can sell it. If you work for yourself, you can just go and work for salary. Make sense, or you want me to present it kind of different way?
That you brought up some really great points. How about we talk about competition? And that's something that all businesses at some point deal with. And when you approach competition and start lowering your prices, that can kill your business. But you've done a really great job at branding your product and offering a better service, in my opinion, and different ways that you stand out versus the competition. And I'd love to get your unique approach or your mindset that you go into when you have a competitor in the marketplace.
So, couple of statements here, and they are very simple. Maybe they're simple, but they're quite hard to follow. It's always tempting to say, hey guys, we have a lower price. But then when you lower the price, 0 is the limit. So you cannot sell cheaper than free. And when you give something free, you don't make any profits, so it's a whole different business model. Although there are great companies who thrive on giving something free and then selling add-ons or providing support for money, etc. So for us, it was finding a combination of a price point and service that makes this business reasonable. However, speaking about service, I do believe that in nowadays, with all the current technologies and all the accessibility of information, almost any feature can be copied. So it's not something you can keep in secret because we are open. We give free trials, we show product demos. So it's just a matter of time when you create something like some additional feature that can be copied by a competition. So it never makes sense either to copycat your competitors or try to create a killer feature that will win you the business. Maybe it will do, but just for a short time. What is hard to replicate is the infrastructure of partnerships and of service that you do, because people come to you, they give a try of a product, they enjoy using this product. And as long as they enjoy using the product and the product is on par with the market demand and expectation, a lot of effort is required to take a customer away. And we are very surprised when we see people coming to us from competition say, hey guys, you know what? We actually like the product we're using at the moment, but we don't get support, and this kills us.
That
This
brings
is
up
something.
another great point. I heard you say that you give out the product for free, and I love that because in my business, if you don't show them the best parts of the products for free, how are they going to buy? So it's like if you agree with me, it's kind of like test driving a car. You're the people who's going to buy a car without test driving it, right? And that's something that I've seen you do. And if you could go into a little bit more depth for our listeners about why you give away for free in the beginning and why that's an effective strategy, that would be great.
So that's first of all, I guess it's just a common sense in SaaS business to have a free trial. You just mentioned that yes, it's like a test drive. You need to drive the car to see how it works. What we do is that we encourage people during their free trial to test us, to send requests to support. Like even if they know everything, they just need to ask us and see how we respond during free trial when they actually paid us $0, and we treat them as just as a potential customers, not existing customers. They can see our attitude, and they can expect that this attitude will last over when they become our customers. That's the number one. So we not only will give RedTrack and offer a free trial, and our free trial is unlike many other businesses, very, very open. So don't take it as a point, but we don't ask neither for credit card. We don't force people to leave anything but their email, which we use then to send product updates as long as they are part of free trial. And that's it. Like if they want to get in touch, they will find a lot of ways to get in touch with us. We don't want to press them into buying. That's something that should not happen. If they like the product, they reach out to us. We help them on board. We show them how it works, and we encourage them to understand if it meets their business needs or requirements. Because if it's not, well, we better help them find something that will work for you, and maybe in a year or maybe in 3 months they will return to us. Because if we sell them something that is not working for them, we'll gain a short-term gain. Like, okay, we have a customer, but this customer will leave us in a month and he'll have a bad impression about us. Instead, we can help people solve their problems, and it happens that we receive some requests and we say, you know what, we cannot do this, but if you go to those other guys, they have a solution that fits your description. Just give them a try. And quite often those people have their needs solved and they're happy. And that's, again, that's the extension of something I told earlier. It's about being of service. So for us, it's important to sell only to people who are our customers, and not just those who stopped with us because we have like good promo, good advertising, good campaigns, and they don't need RedTrack. And that's very important, I believe.
That's a really great point. And how about we get to one last question from our visitors, and that is criticism from either bugs or failure or some type of any type of criticism that you get, and and no matter what, there's always going to be that customer who is not happy, and they're just not happy with everything they buy. You know, they go buy a pizza, they're not happy. They do this, they do everything, and you can never make them happy. They just are always angry, and there will always be criticism, no matter what, in any business. What is how do you view criticism, and how do you actually, because that's a issue, is what do I do if I get criticized? You know, I'm humiliated. I want to close my business. I feel terrible. Can you talk about criticism in business and your take on that for our last question?
Sure. First of all, I never associate myself with my business. Business is a standalone entity that has its own rules, its own process, the end result of the mix of talents and work put by many, many people. So if somebody criticizes this, that's no point to be personal humiliated. That's very, honestly, that's a very strange approach. Criticism is a reason to reconsider what you're doing. Maybe this person is not happy with anything that happens around him, but quite often this person has a reason not to be happy and criticize you. So the best thing I can do is actually get in touch with such a person and ask him more questions. What makes him not happy? Whether it's our features, whether it's our service, maybe it's the weather. Maybe he's living in London, it's always rainy and gloomy there, and we just need to wait for a sunny day and he'll be happy. So criticism for us is an opportunity to improve and make something better. Sometimes we cannot change things immediately, but we still take point, we still plan, and we try to accomplish something and change something that was not working for our customers. And that's the way to grow. Something that stays stable and doesn't want to change will eventually die. The life is about change and growth.
Vlad, that's great advice. One more question, if you could. I don't want to leak anything. I'll actually edit this out of the podcast if you don't want to talk about it. But you mentioned something about Google, and I didn't really. I'm not sure if you want to share that, but I know your product RedTrack. You said something about Google, and it really piqued my interest. I've always wanted to advertise on Google. It's just it's something that I've never been able to effectively do with a performance tracker. And now they're getting more Google's policies. It's February 2019. If you're listening to this after, the Google's policies are getting more strict with using tracking. And would you mind sharing that upcoming project or give any details about it? If not, that's okay.
I can to some extent. So first of all, performance advertising is about being able to track your results. And we believe that there are a lot of great traffic channels for performance marketing, including Google. So our goal is to make advertising across all those channels, including Google, like easy and friendly. And yes, Google has a lot of policies, but that's can be said about a lot of other traffic sources. It's just a matter of creating a technology that is compliant with their policies on a technology level and makes launching campaigns on Google Ads, among other things, easier. So right now we are working with Google to ensure that campaigns launched with RedTrack are in compliance with Google policies on a technology level, allowing at least sort of like green light. And by this green light, I mean, for example, we have parallel tracking support. So it means that you can launch campaigns in RedTrack with Google and using parallel support. Yes, it's not redirect tracking, it's parallel tracking, but it works. Our next two steps would be is that we want to ensure that you can leverage all the means that Google Ads provide to you as a media buyer. And so we have already implemented, we're testing right now, is conversions post back to Google, so that if running and buy media at scale, you can actually apply Google CPA algorithm to optimize your campaigns. And same would come to update costs. So you can just save your time and don't have to run back and forth between Google Ads and Tracker to update your campaign costs. Now, these are just very first steps to ensure that people can buy media on Google comfortably. I'll be honest, we have plans to do the same across many other traffic channels that are popular with our customer base, because we believe that our goal is to help performance marketers, affiliates, media buyers do their work, create great campaigns, find right audience, and optimize. Our goal is to eliminate as many routine tasks in this process as possible. I mean, that's it. Yeah, I've shared a couple of things, and I believe we'll be the first tracker who has Google Ads postbacks out of the box coming next week.